CityCast Pittsburgh is brought to you today by Overlook Maps. If you need help remembering the amazing cafe you discovered last summer or that perfect hiking spot you've heard about, Overlook Maps is for you. With the Overlook mobile app, you can create personalized lists of places that you've been to and want to go, and always see everything on a handy-dandy map. Share your favorite hidden gems with friends and family, or keep your secret spots private just for you. The best part, no ads cluttering your lists, and no one selling your interests or your travel data. Download the free app at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Pittsburgh to see a few CityCast lists on a map and in your pocket. Overlookmaps.com. Collect and share the places that matter to you. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, 3 major cultural institutions are thinking about combining forces to try to stay open. A local U.S. representative was turned away from our region's largest ICE detention center, even though it is literally part of her job. And Pittsburgh celebrities are making the rounds in some viral videos. I'm with CityCast Pittsburgh's Mallory Falk and Sophia Lowe, rounding up some of the biggest stories of the week. It's Friday, August 29th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about.
Hot take, the pizza in Pittsburgh is better than New York.
Whoa.
Whoa! I see the pull quote right now. Come find me. Come find me if you order. Come find me. That's
Pittsburgh pizza.
People don't know and we like it that way.
Mallory, Sophia, good morning.
Not good morning. No, wrong. I will come find Joe Manganiello in New York, and I know he's a lot bigger than me, but I think my rage will easily let me take him on.
I mean, apparently you can find him at Fiore's. Isn't that the point, right?
or I guess New York. I mean, Fiore's is not on my top pizza at all. Those
are fighting words in Pittsburgh, Sophia.
Yeah, I know. And like I said, I can take someone on easy. And it's not to say that Pittsburgh doesn't have good pizza. Like, there are pizza places I love and return to. I just think like the standard for pizza, like if I just walk into any random place in New York, I'm probably going to get a better slice than going to any random place in Pittsburgh.
So if you haven't encountered this clip yet, this is of course South Hills born Joe Manganiello on the Netflix show Dinner Time Live with chef David Chang. As you can hear, his hosts did not agree with him.
Oh, yeah, of course. Also, sorry, Joe, for getting your last name wrong, but your pizza take is still rat trash to me.
I don't want to objectify this man too much, but I could not even hear his pizza take because I was so distracted by his arm muscles.
I mean, he's getting old. He's very salt and pepper. I think there was a man bun back there.
I like it. I like the salt and pepper man bun.
I don't care. I'm upset at him. I don't care what he looks like.
I don't know what's weirder, the pizza take now or the man bun take.
Just getting real divisive on this show right out the gate.
Honestly. Well, in case you missed it, we talked about a bunch of fun stuff this week. Monday, more divisive takes on the Pittsburgh left and other driving rules. On Tuesday, we talked about the Upright Citizens Brigade coming to Pittsburgh, and if that means we're getting funnier. I don't know if y'all have feelings on that yet.
I think I'm funny.
Our net funniness went up when Sophia moved to Pittsburgh.
Thank you. I actually do really want to take one of the classes at some point. I was peeping after the interview, and there's one about clowning. I know UCB is mostly about improv, but clowning sounds so fun. Unfortunately, I am not available that weekend, so fingers crossed it returns in the future.
Sophia, you will not see me there, but please enjoy. Wednesday, we talked on the show about why Pennsylvania does not have a national park, and then got some tips on the best state parks to visit. And then on Thursday, we talked about new burger spots here, specifically smash burger spots. We still want your recommendations for the best burgers in Pittsburgh, so call our burger hotline, 412-212-8893. We also talked about our take on the best new rooftop bar in Pittsburgh.
I will not be taking any other recommendations. Like that skunks every other rooftop bar in the city. I loved it.
I'm excited to check it out. Now is my type of weather too. Like, we are starting to finally get into fall, and now I'm willing to go outside.
'Tis the season.
And if you're wondering what this spot is, tune into our Thursday show.
Yes, we're being intentionally vague just to get you to listen. So we'll move on to the news this week. There have been some fun and some not so fun artsy Pittsburgh news lately, so we're going to run through the high notes. We're going to start with some bad news. 3 of our major cultural institutions here are considering a merger.
Yeah, so that's Pittsburgh Public Theater, City Theater, and Pittsburgh CLO. They sent an email to their supporters and subscribers where they cited, quote, existential challenges faced by regional theaters across the country. So this is kind of part of a larger national trend of theaters struggling a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff like shrinking federal arts funding, demands on local philanthropy. So like as everyone is struggling, like foundations and others are pouring their money into keeping stuff running. So like they just don't have money for things like these really important arts organizations. And then they also talked about like more entertainment choices. Like we all just have like a lot competing for our attention, which has led to fewer subscribers over time. So just a lot of things converging at the same time.
Oh, that one's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, like I can go to the CLO show, but like I can also watch Netflix. And unfortunately, those two things do compete for my attention.
And one is slightly easier to do when you're exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah, when the capitalism has just made you tired all day.
Has just ground you down, yeah. But it's more important than ever when the capitalism has ground you down to go experience a vibrant art scene, I would argue.
Yes.
And of course, CLO has been around a long time. It's the oldest of these 3 groups. It is almost 80 years old. It was founded in 1946. And then the Public and City Theater, they both recently turned 50. Arts reporter Bill O'Driscoll over at WESA, he pointed out that they've all scaled back their production calendars since the pandemic. So they're all already kind of doing less than they were before.
Yeah. And then as for this merger, like we just don't know a whole lot at this point. The executive director of the Public said the public would get to be involved in whatever comes next. They said they're going to listen to the community, dig into some data. I'm guessing they mean like the number of people coming to the shows, maybe demographics, that sort of thing. It's my guess. But that all of that will take a few months.
And then I guess we'll see what happens. But good news, Row House Hollywood in Dormont finally has a reopening date. So that's going to be November 6th. That's a Thursday. So this is the second Row House movie theater location. Their first is in Lawrenceville, and the Dormont is going to be a lot bigger. So their main theater is going to have about 400 seats, and then there's a smaller theater in the basement, closer to 50 seats. It's been under construction for like 2 years now. Megan, we visited, I think, back in 2023 now. What'd you think of it back then?
It looked old. It looked its age, but without the charm, right? Like
except for the bathrooms, those were very pink and pastel and charming, off-putting. I don't know.
The owners, the Mendelssohn, said that they might keep those. I really hope they made the cut.
Also, when you're saying it looked its age, just a reminder that this is like, it was the Hollywood Theater in Dormont. It's 99 years old. It had been shut down for a while, and Row House kind of took it over to revive it.
But the problem is that like it's a historic theater, and I'm guessing the architecture of the day was probably pretty lovely, but over time it had been like someone had attempted to modernize it, like, and not in a nice way. Like it just looked like the kind of thing that somebody had put like the wrong kinds of updates to year on year on year.
That makes sense. I feel that. But I did also get to see a show there because they were doing a few screenings before like most of the construction work started happening. And I will say the vibes were very good at that show. It was the premiere of The Boy and the Heron. So I'm really excited to see how the space has changed since then. When we talked to Brian Mendelssohn, he had these really huge visions for the theater. We're going to play a little clip of him with his vision for the final thing. So hopefully we're seeing that on November 6th.
When you enter the theater itself, it's going to be that release that Frank Wright talks about, where you are, going to very high ceilings, this big cavernous space. And the goal of that walk-in is that you are wowed. You're seeing something that it's not a theater experience you're seeing anywhere else. And it's going to have a nighttime sky. It's going to make you feel like you're in the city where you're outdoors, and it has little tricks too. Like, the sky looks like it's endless. There's a slight breeze to it, like you're outdoors, and it will be the goal is magic.
And just to kind of root you a little bit, I think part of the plan for this whole thing is to also give it like an Art Deco vibe. Like he talked a lot about the film Metropolis from the 20s, like one of the first major motion pictures. So, I mean, I think he's really trying to like bring you back to truly the beginnings of this theater and also like kind of like the heyday of Dormont when it would have been a totally different space.
And opening night is going to include a screening of Metropolis, so I think he's been thinking about this from day one. There's going to be musicians doing live accompaniment, so it sounds like a really cool experience. Plus, there's going to be some food from local Dormont businesses and champagne, so really a celebration.
That sounds so elegant.
Can you imagine having champagne in a movie theater? I hope everyone's on their best behavior.
I mean, I'm not imagining they're giving out like 7 glasses per person where people are going to be getting trashed at this screening.
I know, but people get silly. Like all it takes is a slush, and then that brand new chair is all messed up.
That's true. That's
Megan,
true. Now I'm
bringing
scared.
down our happy arts news.
I just want people to be on their best behavior. No slipping up. While we're on the subject of film and famous people, I guess, another hometown boy recently got an honor. So Jeff Goldblum was recently honored at the Las Culturistas Awards. His was the first of the night. The category was Most Amazing Impact in Film, and his fellow nominees included AI, unfortunately, that was how it was listed, the Kate Winslet hat intro. So when she comes into Titanic and you see the hat and the sweeping camera shot. Music and scoring in film, just generally music.
These are really all over the place.
I mean, that's the best part of the Las Culturistas Awards. Jeff Goldblum's chest and Paul Giamatti in the blue paint from that movie Big Fat Liar when he's like screaming in bright blue.
But my understanding is it's not just Jeff Goldblum's chest in general, it's his chest
From
specifically Jurassic Park.
Yes,
that makes more
absolutely.
sense. Okay.
If you are not a fan of the culture, Las Culturistas is, of course, a podcast by Bowen Yang of Saturday Night Live fame and Matt Rogers, who I don't know how to describe his career. He's done everything, a lot of comedy and writing and singing. His voice is amazing. But anyway, this award show is hilarious because it's basically satire of real award shows that they think take themselves way too seriously. And I love that Jeff Goldblum got not only an award, but like the very first award of the night. And he really sets a tone. Here's a clip.
Once again, I have vanquished AI with my human je ne sais quoi. Jurassic Park had the T-Rex and Laura Dern, and you gay people still chose my chest. Terrible. Come to think of it, can I hand this to you? Can I? No, this award isn't even for me. It's really for my chest. So it is only fitting that...
Okay, this is maybe like the thirstiest I've ever been on an episode of CityCast Pittsburgh. I'm so proud that the thing Pittsburgh is becoming known for is producing men with incredible chests. We got Jeff Goldblum, we got Joe Manganiello. We need a third.
I don't know how Michael Keaton's stacking up right now.
I think I'm team Laura Dern, honestly, if I have to say it. And, I'll say Jeff Goldblum's chest doesn't even really make it on the stage. I mean, there's that still of him from the Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, he doesn't actually open his shirt. He
kind of
teases the audience. I love the person with the like binoculars in the background trying to dial it in just in case.
So, Mallory, if she was there. Maybe next year.
Guilty as charged.
So we will move on to our trivia question. These are almost always written by our wonderful trivia master, Kevin Gavin. You can always play along on our website or our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. That's pittsburgh.citycast.fm. We've got a special one this week just because we thought it was a little bit fun. We've got a thing coming up, but I won't give it away. So we are coming up on the Steelers' regular season. That first game is next week. But this question is about college football, which for us sports fans is helpfully already underway. I'm wondering from y'all, what is arguably the most famous, maybe infamous, and longest running football contest played by a Pittsburgh college team?
I don't know what a football contest is.
Neither do I.
Is that not just football?
A game, an annual game.
Is this the thing where like people do stuff with couches before?
That is a possibility.
West Virginia games?
Yeah.
I don't know any Pittsburgh football traditions.
Megan, you picked the wrong audience for this one.
But I'm sure there are listeners who are aware of what we're talking about. We'll have the answer after the break. Today's show is sponsored in part by Family House. Get ready, Pittsburgh, because their 42nd annual Family House polo match is coming our way on Saturday, September 6th at Heartwood Acres. It's presented by FNB, and it's an all-day event with a little something for everyone. So a professional polo match, not a thing you get to see all that often here in Pittsburgh, a vintage car show by the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, live music, food trucks, tailgating, a silent auction, kids activities. By the way, kids under 12 get in for free, and so much more. Come out and support a great cause while enjoying a truly special day. All the proceeds benefit Family House, which is a nonprofit here in our region, providing safe, affordable lodging for patients and caregivers traveling to Pittsburgh for medical care. Do not miss it, September 6th at Heartwood Acres. Tickets and more information are at familyhouse.org/polo. We'll see ya on the field.
Today's show is brought to you by the Frick Pittsburgh and this magical exhibition that's on view in their greenhouse right now. It's called Catching Sunbeams from the Porch Swing of Wisteria Castle, and I can personally attest it is exactly as whimsical as it sounds. The greenhouse at Frick is already pretty special. It's this beautiful, peaceful space that you can enter totally for free, kind of a hidden oasis right in the city. But this exhibition really takes it to another level. There are all of these incredible sculptures made out of metal mesh and wire that hang from the windows and ceilings. They look kind of cloud-like and dreamy. The artist who created them, Atticus Adams, says he was inspired by childhood memories of spending time with his grandma on her porch swing. It's so sweet. The exhibition is on display through October 26th, and I highly recommend checking it out. Step into joy and the Frick Greenhouse.
We are back with our trivia question. Look, the reason why y'all need to know about this is because it does have implications for the North Shore when it happens locally. I am talking, of course, about when Pitt football plays West Virginia. This is called...
Oh, so I was right.
This is called the Backyard Brawl. You were talking about couches being lit on fire. That can happen. It doesn't always happen.
Oh, that's not the annual tradition.
Oh, I'm down for a fire. Okay, I'd be more interested if it was fire related. I love a bonfire.
Yeah, so that game is coming up on September 13th. I'm mentioning it in advance because if you want to get tickets, you really have to get ahead of that. It's happening this year in West Virginia, down in Morgantown. It'll be on the ESPN, but it is the 108th time that these two teams have played each other. And of course, we're so close. That's why we call it the Backyard Brawl. But it's also the last time we're aware that it's going to happen for a while. There's just like no plans in the future to continue this, which I think...
Why not?
I mean, it's all contracts and stuff. Like, we'll see if that changes. Occasionally, teams just stop playing each other for a while, but I hope they bring it back because I feel like the Backyard Brawl is like a big one. And like, what if West Virginia wins? And we just have to hang with that for a while. Like, I want better for Pitt. They need to win.
There will be many couches set aflame if that happens.
They need to win in West Virginia. So at least as long as we don't have one, we won the last time. And that's how history gets to stand.
I'm on board with that. Even if I don't know the traditions, I'm pro us winning.
Thank you. That's the only take you need.
So we're going to take a hard left turn here, but we want to talk about some pretty important news that happened this week. So we've mentioned on the show before that our region has the biggest ICE detention facility in the Northeast. It's called Moshannon Valley Processing Center. It's in Clearfield County, so about 2.5 hours from Pittsburgh. There has been a lot of attention on it lately. Someone who's being held there recently died by apparent suicide. There have been accusations for years now of human rights abuses. And then earlier this week on Monday, one of our Congresspeople, Summer Lee, was denied access to the facility when she tried to visit to see the conditions for herself.
Right. She posted some videos on TikTok kind of showing herself there and just kind of talking about her experience of just waiting outside.
Yeah. And I mean, as I understand it, like they're not required to give notice, or at least they weren't. But I know that's like part of the sticking point of this whole thing.
Yeah. So what happened to Summer Lee is really part of this bigger national trend that I think it's important to talk about. So over the last few months, at least a dozen members of Congress have been denied access to ICE facilities all over the country. And under federal law, you are right, Megan, like the Department of Homeland Security cannot deny access to members of Congress. They're allowed to make these oversight visits to detention facilities. They are not required to give advance notice.
Which, I mean, it's wild. Like, if you're in charge of the oversight of a thing, whether you agree with its premise or not, like, I would imagine the best way to inspect conditions is to show up unannounced. Like, giving them advance warning so that they can clean up their act is like kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't truly know what the conditions are like if people have an opportunity to make things all nice and shiny before you arrive. And these visits, like they are pretty routine. I used to cover the border and immigration in El Paso, Texas, and I would report on visits like this all the time. Like this is just part of like ensuring that these facilities are doing what they're supposed to be doing, figuring out if changes need to be made at the facilities. These are taxpayer funded facilities.
Right. And I would want my Congress people to do this. Like, I think that's part of their job as representatives of the taxpayers is to show up and make sure that whatever's happening there is on the up and up.
So why exactly are people being like turned away then?
Yeah, so basically in June, ICE published this new guidance asking members of Congress to give at least 72 hours notice before a visit, and also stating that they have the right to deny visits if deemed necessary for whatever reason. These guidelines have since been taken down from their website.
That explains why I couldn't find it. I just saw some release saying like, they told me I couldn't come in.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw the same videos on Instagram because I am an old, but like, Lee was saying that Ms. Shannon told her that she needed to give them 7 days notice. So like, which is it? Is it 0 notice, which is, I think, what the rule has been prior to now? Is it 72 hours, which I guess once appeared on a government website, but is gone? And then Lee gets this guidance that it has to be 7 days. Like this is not consistent.
Yeah. So, I mean, right. The law is no notice. This new guidance, like from all the reporting I've read, what was published says 72 hours. Again, like I could not fact check that myself because when you click the link, it is now dead. Like their guidelines don't appear anymore. But basically a spokeswoman for DHS, when she was like asked about this policy, she suggested that federal officials should provide a week's notice. So it sounds like the spokesperson also went rogue, and now that's become what people at the facilities are saying, even though I don't think it's
not
written anywhere.
In a law anywhere.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And, Summer Lee was turned away on Monday. Another congresswoman from outside of Philly was turned away from the Shannon Valley on Wednesday. And she said that the people at the facility told her like they knew there was a federal law allowing her to be let in, but that Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary, had ordered them not to allow members of Congress to visit the facilities. So it seems like they also allegedly know what the law is, but have also been told to defy it.
What the heck is going on?
And here's a clip of what Lee had to say after she was denied access.
We know why they don't want to let us in. They don't want us to see these facilities, see the conditions that folks are living in. They don't want us to have contact with some of these detainees. And we know that there have been facilities that have U.S. citizens detained.
Go off, Summer. Go get them.
I think one thing that struck me too were all the comments in the videos who were saying like, thank you for doing your job and checking in. We support you. And I know like people who are watching her videos probably agree with her, but I've also seen a lot of headlines in general about polling, which again, I know like very much depends on who you talk to, saying that
who paid for it, all those things.
But still like favorability towards ICE, towards Donald Trump and his immigration policies has been going down.
Which I don't think we've seen the end of, like not even close. Just a little more context. Axios Pittsburgh just did a deep dive on the data and ICE arrests in southwestern Pennsylvania. And they've almost tripled under Trump, like from January through July. And more than half of those arrests have involved people with no prior criminal record. All of this stuff is happening. And the big, beautiful bill was passed. And that effectively doubles the budget of ICE. So we're hearing that things are just going to ramp up more in the coming months and years. Like we still have 3.5 years left of this presidency.
And then, if you end up in a detention facility, we've heard about these horrible conditions at Moshannon. There have been complaints about inadequate medical care, lack of language access, excessive use of force, overuse of solitary confinement, like really horrific things.
Yeah, there were actually so many complaints filed against Moshannon Valley that a special office in the Department of Homeland Security opened an investigation last year. But since then, the Trump administration has gutted that office, so it is unclear what's going to happen with that investigation.
And I also think it's worth bringing back up what you were talking about earlier, Mallory. Like there have been at least 2 deaths that we know of since the facility opened in 2021. So most recently, that one earlier this month, that was a 32-year-old Chinese citizen. He'd only been in custody for 5 days, plus another. Like, everything about this is so bleak.
So because of all of this, a lot of people want to shut down Moshannon Valley. There was actually a big protest outside of the facility last Sunday, and this included people who traveled from Pittsburgh, did that 5-hour round-trip drive, and the protests involved calling for Clearfield County commissioners to end their contracts with ICE and GEO Group. GEO Group is the private corporation that runs the detention center.
I fully forgot that this was privately held. I hate that that's a thing, that our prison system can be owned privately and it becomes like a for-profit venture.
It is not good stuff. But Lee says she plans to return, it sounds like, to hopefully try to get in and do an inspection. So we'll see if she's able to get in.
Yeah, I saw that too. I didn't know if she meant to inspect, to protest, maybe both.
My understanding from listening to it is that she's going to try to visit again because it is her federal right. And I also, before this even happened to her last month, she introduced a bill that would protect members of Congress from, quote, violence, obstruction, and retaliation when conducting official oversight of the executive branch. This was in response to lawmakers getting arrested while visiting ICE facilities.
Which is so wild because, again, it is part of their job. It is part of their constitutional rights.
Well, if you think that you're seeing ICE activity in your area, just a reminder, please don't post about it. Don't immediately put it up on social media. Call Casa San Jose. They have an emergency line to try to respond to things like this. That's 412-736-7167. If a phone call feels too dangerous in the moment, you can also send them a text.
And we've also talked to someone from the ACLU about what to do if you're worried about being targeted by ICE or if you see ICE activity on the streets.
Or what to look for in the first place.
Exactly. And we also have a summary in Spanish, so we'll link those episodes in the show notes. Please share with folks if you think they might be concerned. So important that people know what to do.
Today's show is sponsored by TurboTenant. Managing a property here in Pittsburgh is not exactly simple. There can be a lot to keep track of, whether you've got a duplex in Squirrel Hill or a few row houses in the South Side. TurboTenant can make it easier. It's free, it's online, and it handles everything from listings to leases to rent collection without the usual stress. So no matter where you are in the rental process, say just listing and looking for new tenants, or years into managing multiple properties, TurboTenant says they can help you get high-interest leads, screen those applicants, create their leases, and collect rent all in one place. And again, all totally free. More than 800,000 landlords already use TurboTenant. It takes 10 minutes to make and publish a new listing. Give it a try and get started today at turbotenant.com. That's turbotenant.com. Super simple, super useful. So we are back with a neighbor shout out. These are from our membership program, our CityCast Pittsburgh Neighbors.
Yes, this one is from special friend of the pod, Johanna D. She is shouting out South Park Theater. So she says it sits in an idyllic garden with a breathtaking outdoor children's stage, great entertainment, beautiful setting. I mean, really, what more could you want?
Yeah.
And I looked this up. The auditions for the Children's Theater's fall season is actually happening this weekend. So that's going to be August 30th from 9 to 1. And anyone ages 6 to 18 can audition. The shows are Dr. Experimenter and The League of Evil. Don't know what that is. Sounds really fun. And also Jingle Bell Jukebox. Also sounds fun.
Different kind of fun. Different paths there.
Yes, different kinds of fun, but still cool. Thank you so much for the recommendation, Johanna.
And if you want to shout out your favorite local business, nonprofit, community group on the pod, you can become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor and send us that shout out. We will read it right here. We'll include it in our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. You can join today at membership.citycast.fm. And if you're a member and you're listening, please send us your shout outs. Even if you've submitted before, we want you to keep them coming. So let us know who we should be shining some light on and recommending to folks.
Yeah, anything you love, anything you want to just give some attention to. It can be a restaurant, it can be an event, it can be a little bit of anything. We want to hear from y'all.
Yeah, it can even be your business. Shout out yourself.
True. Please. We love a self-serving moment here. So we are going to move on to one thing to know, a win and a loss for here in the city of Pittsburgh. Sophia, you kick us off with the one thing we need to know.
Yeah, we know what probably caused the U.S. Steel explosion now. So this is
at Clairton Coke Works.
Yeah.
Happened a few weeks ago.
So this is still technically preliminary, but it looks like a gas valve failed. So too much pressure built out. And once the gas got out, it, quote, found an ignition source. That's the way I've seen so many outlets report it, but, basically just means something caught on fire. A VP of a local union told KDKA that some full-time contractors may have overpressurized the valve with water. They were doing this as part of maintenance that was planned ahead of time. So maybe a little bit more still developing.
That did strike me as a little bit like he said, she said, if only because the way it was phrased to KDKA suggested that it's the non-union coworker that caused the problem, not the union employees. And maybe that is true, but it was phrased in a little bit of a weird way. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I just they're your colleague. Can't you point fingers at the company? Maybe not your coworkers. I don't know.
Yeah, that also struck me as a little bit odd.
I understand the union's been through the ringer this year and last year. It's been a busy season and not in a good way.
Yeah, and like I said before, still technically preliminary findings. More people are digging around. We'll update if there's more info you do need to know, but also uncertain if we'll find more out in the future because the Trump administration wants to shut down the board investigating this whole blast. That board's called the U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board. So sounds really important, and they don't have a huge budget. It's just a little over $14 million. There's been some opposition from lawmakers about, potentially shutting this down. That includes local Representative Chris Deluzio.
A Democrat.
Yes. He and other congresspeople sent a strongly worded letter to Trump, but I don't know how much of an impact that's going to make.
Congressional Democrats with their strongly worded letters, man.
Also, we're going to gut the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties within the DHS. We're going to get rid of this investigatory agency. Just a lot of safeguards being removed lately.
Well, we'll move on to a win for the Pittsburgh region. This one comes from one of my favorite news, quote unquote, news sources.
Yeah, so The Onion had an article recently with the headline, Pirates Under Fire for Directly Marketing Team to Children.
They're, of course, a satirical news source, a parody site, but I just love that they're coming for the Pirates. Here's a quote from it. It is deeply irresponsible to lure kids into becoming Pirates fans before they're emotionally equipped to handle the kind of disappointment and chronic underperformance this franchise will almost certainly inflict on them. It's just so serious.
I also really love the fake quote from a National Child Safety Council spokesperson that says, their business model depends on turning innocent, impressionable kids into sullen, dead-eyed adults who pound icy lights and scream at the TV night after night about the team's abysmal offense, once again letting a strong pitching performance go to waste. I mean, if that's not every person in the city of Pittsburgh.
I mean, you're assuming that all of us have the television ability to watch the Pirates on TV, but yes, of a certain age, I think that is dead on.
If that's not every boomer and above in the city of Pittsburgh.
Yes, there you go.
Well, I am sure a lot of people read this because The Onion is really big now. The CEO posted on Blue Sky saying that they're the 13th largest newspaper in the United States.
That's wild.
I know. And they're in print now. I don't know who's going back to print. Good for The Onion. I mean, maybe bad for everyone who now thinks, poorly of the Pirates, but I guess most people did already.
I don't think it's The Onion that did that.
I also find it hilarious that we are counting a big national satirical outlet coming for our sports team as a win for the city of Pittsburgh. But I guess it's just really validating to get this kind of recognition and maybe one more nudge toward Bob Nutting finally selling the team everyone has been begging.
Yeah, think of the kids The Onion did.
If you need more background on the Sell the Team movement, we did do a podcast on it. We'll link it in our show notes. But I do have one freebie suggestion. If this is speaking to you and you are one of those families that is introducing your children to the Pirates despite their bad practices, I have a suggestion. So anyway, the Pirates have this club called the Buckaroos Club. There's a free option and a gold tier. I think the gold tier is $35 or so, but the free one gets you a ticket So free to sign up. You get 1 free ticket to any game, any time of the year. And the paid one gets you 4 free tickets. I don't know if y'all can do the math on that, but even Pirates tickets, which can be very cheap, are more than $35.
Yeah.
So you get 4 free tickets, a bunch of Chick-fil-A coupons, a swag bag for kids. This year's came with a bucket hat, some sunglasses, a big flag. And then if you also get like a discount card for like the merchandise store that you can use all year.
Ooh.
And then there's 1 free ticket if you go on like a family day, because they do like 1 a month or so. The kids can run the bases, like get on the field.
Oh, that's so cute. I've never been to a family day. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, so they shut down Federal Street and there's all kinds of vendors. Like this past weekend was their Sesame Street Day. So they had an enormous inflatable cookie monster, and everybody, like WQED was really there to shine, our local PBS affiliate. They had a bunch of cool stuff, but they just had like all kinds of things and a giveaway. Like there was a Big Bird stuffy wearing a Pirates jersey. My kiddo got to make a friendship bracelet. They had Bert and Ernie bobbleheads somewhere. I did not go hunt those down. But like you could also use the ticket on like a fireworks night, or go on a day when the giveaway is in adult sizes, for example.
Yeah, Sophia, I feel like your main motivation is if they're giving away a good bucket hat.
Yes.
A bucket hat, one of the like Hawaiian shirts could be fun. They gave away a whole jersey at one point, and those things are like over $100.
That's not in my interest, though. I'm not going to know the player. That would just be shameful. Someone's going to ask me a question. I don't know how to answer.
You can get some that just like have no name and like a 0 or something. I'm just saying there's options.
Okay.
Anyway, this is a great way to take your family to a Pirates game for very cheap, at least 1 for the season. You can sign up multiple kids. But one thing I did notice for myself, they don't verify that you have a child. So I do think that anyone could probably sign up for this. So just something for your back pocket for next season.
Ooh, good tip. Good tip. I love a discount. And our loss, Millvale's Hardee's has closed. This was a really big deal for a lot of people. But
I was shocked by the amount of discourse about this on the Pittsburgh socials.
Me too. This is actually how most of our team learned Millvale actually had a Hardee's. I don't know. When I go to Millvale, I'm usually at the Lincoln P&G Diner. So
Grist House for me.
Yeah. But this was the last one left in this area. The closest location in Pennsylvania is now in Waynesburg, so a little bit far away, I think, to get some fast food hamburgers. But I get why people are sad. Your comfort fast food chain is very important.
Yeah, I keep picturing like the Hardee's from like my own neck of the woods, where like all the older guys would gather like at the crack of dawn to shoot the bull and drink coffee. And like I know that these places have not allowed smoking in like well over 30 years, but like when I imagine a Hardee's in my head, I can smell black coffee and sausage and smoke. And like I just RIP to anybody for whom this was like your spot. I'm thinking of the older folks.
Well, I am hoping they turn the Hardee's into a Taco Bell, because I love Taco Bell. And I will start hanging out there if it turns into a Taco Bell.
Millvale's got a great taco place.
Taco Bell is less of a taco place and more of like, I want something gooey.
A desperation move?
Mallory does not want something gooey. She is looking at me with disgust.
I'm just stunned into silence here. Although, like, the one plus for Taco Bell is I have heard it's very vegan friendly. So if you are a vegan and you have not heard of this hack, I guess don't go to Millvale, but find another Taco Bell.
I mean, their meat is barely meat, so I can see how that might be true.
I mean, it's just so customizable. Taco Bell is basically like 3 ingredients repackaged 20 times.
Well, maybe they could turn it into a Sheetz, because I did see, I guess this is one extra possible win, depending on your feelings, that one of the RiteAids that's closed recently, because like they've been closing all over the country, one in Banksville is going to turn into a Sheetz, which will technically make it the very first Sheetz in the city of Pittsburgh, like just barely. I think it's like right on the line.
Yeah, I looked up the map. It is right on the edge of Banksville. I think like 2 streets away. We are out of the city proper, but hey.
Still, Pittsburgh, that counts. That counts.
I'm going to be so interested to see what all of these old RiteAids become. Like I saw there's a plan to turn the one in Squirrel Hill, that one that's like right on the corner of Forbes and Murray, into a market. So I don't know. I hope we get some cool spots. I'm not going to be on the Taco Bell bandwagon, but Sophia, I hope there's at least one for you.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Our music is by Benji, All the Kimonos, Bagel, The Verge, Spring Gang, and Alexandra Woodward, with additional music from epidemicsound.com. Mallory Falk is our executive producer. Sophia Lowe produces the show, and Francesca DeBecco writes our Hate Pittsburgh newsletter. We got some help this week from Elizabeth Kama and Natalia Aldana. I am your host, Megan Harris. We will be off for Labor Day, so we'll be back on Tuesday with more news from around the city. We hope y'all have a great weekend. The clowning don't start till Sophia walk in.